trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Doreen Scanlon. Right now at noon, we start with the weather. We began this day with a fresh coat of snow. And as we take a live look outside right now with our sky cam, you can still see some of it out there. Storm tracker meteorologist Chelsea Priest is in the Weather Center. Hi there, Chelsea.
Yeah, about a half an inch in many locations outside. Early this morning, the snow came to an end pretty quickly, but we were left with that coating of snow to start the day. Now we're way above freezing and we're above average outside for a late January afternoon. We're sitting in the low 40s. There is a breeze from the west, making us feel more like the mid 30s, but overall, most of us have made it into that low 40s range with the exception of Smithfield, still hovering at 39, 35 and Killingly. But overall, a warmer day today than what we experienced yesterday. Most of us running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer right now compared to yesterday at this time. So a significant change after a chilly few days across southern New England. We did have, again, rain and snow in the early morning hours. At this point, we're mostly cloudy, and you'll continue to see kind of a blend of some sun and clouds as we head through the remainder of the afternoon, with those temperatures today staying in the low 40s range. We head through the evening hours, and our little warm-up is short-lived. We're in the low to mid 40s today, average high is about 38, so we're already above that right now. But as we head through the night, we start to clear out, the winds start to shift, and temperatures start to drop. By 9 p.m., we're down into the low 30s. By early tomorrow morning, we're back down to the teens. We have a couple of really cold days ahead of us, setting the stage for the potential of a weekend storm system. I'll have much more in just a few minutes. Doreen?
Chelsea, thank you. And we turn now to our coverage of the coronavirus and a positive sign in the fight against COVID-19 as cases across Rhode Island and Massachusetts begin to plateau. Health experts believe the country could be on the verge of a turning point after several grueling weeks fueled by the Omicron variant. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi is live now with more on what we can expect in the coming weeks here. Laura?
Well, Doreen, the number of new cases is either leveling off or falling in 31 states across the country, and that includes Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Now, here in the Ocean State, we know that cases have chopped in half in the last 10 days.
We're heading in a good direction, and hopefully it goes along quickly.
Dr. Jim McDonald with the Rhode Island Department of Health delivering positive news. COVID cases are going down in the Ocean State following the Omicron surge.
These are trends that are heading in the right direction, and I think that, this speaks to a couple things. One is, we're running out of people to get infected.
In just 10 days, cases dropped from 3,400 weekly per 100,000 people to 1,600. In schools, the data shows cases finally slowing down. And it's not just cases going down, but there's relief in hospitals too.
The hospitalization numbers encourage me a little bit too. We still have a lot of people in the hospital, but it's about 100 less per day than we did a week ago.
It's a trend reflected nationwide. In Massachusetts, a 7-day average of cases peaked on January 10th at over 22,000. Today, that number is down to just over 8,000.
We have falling cases. We have plateauing hospitalizations. We have 50% of our hospitalizations not having severe COVID or not being treated for severe COVID.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's leading infectious disease expert, says the U.S. could get a break from COVID in the coming weeks, barring any sudden new variants.
There are still some states in the southern states and western states that continue to go up. But if the pattern follows the trend that we're seeing in other places, such as the Northeast, I believe that you will start to see a turnaround.
While the news is positive, Dr. McDonald says there's still reason for caution. About 150,000 Rhode Islanders haven't had the vaccine or COVID yet and remain at risk.
The number of people who have gotten that booster vaccine, or in other words, up to date, is only about 34% in our state. And 34% just isn't going to cut it.
That good news, I asked Dr. McDonald if the state has any plans to lift mandates in place like the indoor mask mandate or other measures. He says while the data is promising, he's not there quite just yet. Reporting live in Providence, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC6 News.
Laura, thank you. And nationally, the news is hopeful too as case numbers go down. And meantime, Pfizer is announcing the start of trials for its Omicron-specific booster. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest on that.
Signs of hope across the country, with at least 31 states seeing new cases level off or decrease.
While this virus continues to surprise us in all sorts of ways, I do think that we're heading to a better place.
But the World Health Organization warning it is far too early to relax. 22 states reporting at least a 10% increase in hospital admissions.
Nobody is exaggerating this. These are the sickest patients that we've seen in our entire careers.
And now the WHO identifying an Omicron subvariant called BA2 spreading quickly in 40 countries. While it does appear to be easily transmissible, it does not appear to be deadlier than Omicron and is not a variant of concern right now.
Are any of these variants going to be worse? Are they going to be getting over the immune defenses better? We really don't know.
To help protect Americans, the White House sending out those 400 million free N95 masks, with pharmacies and community health centers set to receive them in the coming days. In New York, a showdown over masks, a state Supreme Court judge overturning Governor Kathy Hochul's mask mandate for public indoor spaces, calling it unconstitutional and unenforceable, the governor now filing an appeal. Pfizer trying to stay one step ahead of this evolving virus, announcing new trials for an Omicron-specific vaccine booster. Over 1,400 trial patients set to receive at least one dose, with first results expected in the spring. Experts say a strain-specific booster may not be necessary for people who are already vaccinated and boosted. One of the categories being tested is a 3-shot course of the vaccine tailored for Omicron in patients with no vaccinations at all. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, tonight, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker will deliver his final State of the Commonwealth address. The governor speaking at the Heinz Convention Center at 7 o'clock to allow for more spacing. Last year's speech was virtual. Typically, the speech is given in the State House chambers. Baker is reportedly expected to focus on mental health and how he and the legislature can work together on improvements in that area. Rhode Island's Attorney General joined by top state officials this morning, announcing more settlements from the state's ongoing opioid lawsuits. They're outlining how funding recovered from opioid distributors will be used to address drug use in the state. ABC6 News reporter Hector Molina is there. We'll have a wrap-up on that event on ABC6 News first at 4. And new today at noon, the Pawtucket Board of Licenses meets tonight to discuss the fate of Fab City Cigar Lounge, the scene of a deadly shooting. That's where 2 men were shot, one of them killed in the early morning hours of Monday. They'll decide whether to suspend the club's licenses. Police say there was an argument inside, and the 2 men were later found shot outside. And at the State House today in Rhode Island, a bill to bring back happy hour gets its first hearing today. Happy hour specials have been banned in Rhode Island since the 1980s, just like in Massachusetts. State Rep Karen Elzadeh is sponsoring the bill aimed at helping restaurants as they continue to feel the effects of pandemic restrictions. The bill would require the drinks be served alongside a meal, not snacks. And from more drinks to less, there's another hearing scheduled on Smith Hill this week to discuss banning nips, those mini alcoholic beverages you see strewn along the street in just about every major city. The House Environment and Natural Resources Committee is taking up the bill tomorrow. Public comment will be accepted at 4:30, either virtually or in person at the State House. Well, still to come, not here at noon, on alert, the U.S. warning of possible troop deployment to Eastern Europe amid tensions on the border between Russia and Ukraine. We'll have the very latest. Plus, will Big Papi get in? The big Hall of Fame reveal in Cooperstown set for tonight. All eyes on David Ortiz as a 2022 class will be unveiled. We'll take a look ahead coming up. And URI unveils some dazzling new threads ahead of tonight's game with Richmond. We'll take a closer look. In national political news this afternoon, the Pentagon says 8,500 U.S. troops are now on heightened alert for possible deployment to Eastern Europe. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest.
As tensions flare with Russia, the U.S. and its NATO allies are trying to present a united front, ramping up military assistance to Ukraine.
Even as we're looking to advance the diplomacy, advance the dialogue, we have to be, and we are prepared when it comes to defense and deterrence.
NATO countries deploying resources, including warships, fighter jets, and additional ground troops to the region. The Biden administration now placing 8,500 troops on heightened alert for rapid deployment, but those troops will not yet be deployed.
The United States has taken steps to heighten the readiness of its forces at home and abroad.
The Kremlin responding it has profound concerns over the move, insisting it has no plans to invade Ukraine. Yet, Russia has built up more than 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border, with more military trains now arriving in neighboring Belarus, and Russian ships setting sail in the Baltic Sea. Overnight, in a nationwide address, Ukraine's president urged calm, while a top Ukrainian official is pushing back on claims that a Russian invasion is imminent. In a potential diplomatic off-ramp, France and Germany are set to hold talks tomorrow in Paris with Ukraine and Russia.
We're prepared to support dialogue and diplomacy that serves to de-escalate tensions.
Here in Washington today, officials from the Biden administration will give two classified briefings on the situation in Ukraine to House and Senate leadership and committee staff. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Still to come, could it be a big day for Big Papi? David Ortiz waiting on the Baseball Hall of Fame voting results today, and surprising a local coach with a touching tribute to his years on the court. All eyes on the National Baseball Hall of Fame today as the class of 2022 is set to be announced. The front runner in the votes that have already been revealed, none other than Big Papi, David Ortiz, who produced so many memorable moments as the three-time world champion Red Sox designated hitter. This is Big Papi's first year of eligibility. If he's elected by voters, he'd be the first ballot Hall of Famer since Derek Jeter in 2020. Former Red Sox Curt Schilling and Roger Clemens are also in the running, but expected to fall short. URI will look a little different tonight at the Ryan Center because the Rams will have new uniforms on. Rhodey revealing these new Ocean State jerseys on social media Monday ahead of tonight's game against Richmond. That's at 6:30. some new threads to represent the state school. And a special honor for longtime Dartmouth High School basketball coach and teacher Stephen Gaspar. The coach, now retired, was at the high school last night to help the new coaching staff with this year's basketball team. Little did he know, the school committee was also on site voting to name the school's basketball court after him. The superintendent said scores of community members sang his praises and recommended the idea to a naming committee, leading to that vote.
So tonight, this committee has just voted to name the basketball court in the Carlin Lynch Activity Center after you, Mr. Gaspar, and I know your team is very proud of that.
I just want to thank you. I'm speechless. I had no idea.
Good.
I would like to thank everyone, but it wasn't me. It was them, all the players.
The school committee will now work to pick a game that will include a ceremony to name the gym after Gaspar.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, we had a light coating of snow out there very early this morning. At this point, though, mostly cloudy conditions with some sun popping through at times. Temperatures themselves are mild for this time of year. We're talking about low 40s. Typically, we should be in the upper 30s. It's silly to think that 40s are a lot warmer than average. They're not, but they're a lot warmer than where we've been these last few days. The weekend was really brutally cold. Yesterday, we had highs only in the low to mid 30s, so we're coming up well above that. Just slightly above average for this time of year. 38 is the average high, 21 the average low. So we started the day in the 30s. Unfortunately, by early tomorrow morning, we'll be back down to some seasonable temperatures. We have the breeze right now. It's coming in from the southwest to the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's enough to make us feel a bit cooler. Wind chills in the 30s for most of us. Still not bad when we talk about wind chills, but that wind is going to be shifting as we head through tonight, and the temperatures are going to drop back down to the teens by tomorrow morning, and we're looking at a chilly couple of days ahead of us for Wednesday and Thursday. Satellite radar image. This is a loop over the past 6 hours. Shows you a lot of clouds outside still, but the precipitation has really come to an end. We had early morning snow, switching over to some light rain for coastal locations, and at this point, all of that continues to push offshore. A much wider view shows you some flurry activity up to our north and our west, a lot of that kind of drying out, but we're going to continue to see kind of some passing clouds through the rest of the afternoon. We'll continue to clear out as we head into this evening, and then we have completely clear conditions for much of the day Wednesday night, and Thursday. But again, that is going to lead to some very chilly temperatures. What we're looking at today, kind of a blend of sun and clouds for the rest of the afternoon. You end up with partly clear conditions this evening. By tomorrow morning, we're waking up with clear conditions. We'll see sunshine through much of the day tomorrow. It's significantly cooler than today. Today, low to mid 40s. Tomorrow, we're going to wake up in the teens, and our highs tomorrow end up in the low to mid 20s. So we'll be running about 20 degrees cooler for tomorrow, and we see even colder temperatures in place overnight tomorrow into Thursday morning. We're talking about temperatures down to the single digits. Now we're going to shift all of our focus towards the weekend storm system. Confidence continues to build in a significant storm event for the weekend, really focusing in on Saturday, almost a 24-hour period there where we may be experiencing snow, gusty winds. Now, there are still uncertainties with this storm system. The exact track is going to play a big role on how much snow or mixing or sleet we may see, the amount of wind we may see as well, and the actual strength of this system. But what we are looking at is the potential there for a significant event that's going to create some very hazardous travel through the day on Saturday. So now's the time to start thinking about that, maybe changing some of your Saturday plans. Into Sunday, things should start to quietly, gradually calm down. Low to mid 40s today. Again, more details to come in the coming days with that storm system. We're still narrowing things down. Jeff will have a full update for you tonight. I'll have much more tomorrow morning. Mid 40s today, mostly cloudy, mild for this time of year. A little bit of a breeze, though, and that breeze starts to come in from the northwest overnight. We dip down to the teens. Tomorrow we see sunshine, but it's cold. Highs only in the mid 20s. So you figure about 20 degrees cooler than today. We stay cold on Thursday and then shift all our focus to that storm for Saturday. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. We'll be following along. Pick of the litter is next at noon. Today, meet Freddie, a 2-year-old pup. You can see he had some medical issues, but he's all fixed up and looking for a new home. His story is next.
Pick of the litter. Brought to you by Moriarty's Invisible Fence.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. That means it's time for Pick of the Litter. We have Wayne and Adriana here from the RSPCA, and you guys have brought Freddie with you today. He's a handsome boy.
He is a handsome boy. He's got a background with us.
Okay.
And he actually represents what we do at the SPCA. We brought Freddie in as a hardship boarding dog.
Okay.
He was living with a person who became homeless. He was living in a car.
Oh.
And when he came in, he had a serious medical issue. He had a very infected eye. We had to actually remove what was left of his eye. So he's a one-eyed, 2-year-old pit bull Rottweiler mix who's just full of energy and a sweet guy.
Right. What kind of home do you think would be good for him?
We think just because he's so big
Yep.
and has so much energy that he should be an only dog in an adult-only home.
Okay.
But he's the type of dog that, you could put in your truck and go cross country with.
Right.
He's great in the car. He's good on a leash. And I call him Freight Train Freddie because he's
got some
he's
power.
got that power, and and when he's coming, he breathes heavily, and you know he's coming.
Right? As soon as we open the door, I could hear him breathing. He's loud, but he's adorable.
He is a nice, friendly guy. He's a staff favorite.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen with dogs that aren't great dogs.
Right, of course. All right, so we need to find Freddie the perfect home, adult-only home with a lot of energy, because he's got a lot of energy, but he's awfully cute. So hopefully you will find a good home for Freddie. You can contact the RSPCA. It's 401-438-8150. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, meet the 49ers Frenchies. Why these dogs could be the key to their winning ways. Plus, Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Well, Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers may have a secret weapon as they head into this Sunday's NFC Championship game. These guys, emotional support French Bulldogs. The team calling on a breeding company to help players who might be having a rough time dealing with stress and anxiety. So enter these guys, Zoe and Rookie, two of the most ferocious members of the 49ers family. So are those guys the keys to beating the Rams, Chelsea?
We'll see.
We'll
Maybe.
have to see.
Support animals are great. Tuesdays are the best day
Exactly.
here. When we get a pet into work, everyone's in a better mood. So we got to find Freddie a home. He was sweet. We are looking at partly cloudy conditions outside for the rest of this afternoon. Temps in the 40s, but we're back down to the cold tomorrow. Teens to start the day, 20s in the afternoon, even colder Thursday morning. All eyes focusing in on that weekend storm on Saturday. Jeff will have another update for you this evening. Doreen?
Hi, Chelsea. Thanks. And thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day.